Show you something. I want to show you just how bad this person's arguments are. He says, keep making those red herring videos when I'm talking about you and not the issues you're talking about. Uh, have you ever heard of an ad hominem fallacy? Now, that word, that word is, guess what? It means against the man. And this is your logical fallacy. You attacked your opponent's character or personal traits in an attempt to undermine their argument. Ad hominem attacks can take the form of overtly attacking somebody or more subtly casting doubt on their character or personal attributes as a way to discredit their arguments. The result of an ad hominem attack can be to undermine someone's case without actually having to engage in it. So this person was too cowardly to engage in that, right there, in that particular comment. He basically said that it was about me personally in the more general sense that I'm delusional. Well, that's a structurally flawed argument because at the end of the day, it's still an ad hominem, I'm not my argument, so my character as a person is out of bounds in any debate on the internet, anywhere. I mean, just because you can cowardly bring my character into the equation doesn't mean that you have a fair point, because you're not addressing the arguments that I'm making. You're trying to address my character as a person. And basically, I don't value your perspective about my character, so why are you talking to me about it? Go ahead, hate me. Sir, you don't like me? I don't live my life to fucking please you. Tough shit. Go pound sand. Fuck your point of view and feelings. That's all I have to say about that, Judge away, sir. Your disdain for me couldn't possibly mean less to me. I couldn't care less about your feelings, your perspective, or what you think about me. I don't live my life to please you, so you're not a priority at all, and that is a deliberate choice that I have made. Not actually pretending to be him. Have you ever heard of satire? YouTube won't delete it. Yeah, but this isn't fair game. It's not fair use. It doesn't fall under that particular doctrine. YouTube will do something about this. You are impersonating somebody. If you were going to make satire, by the way, if you were going to really do that, you shouldn't use their exact name. You should make a little bit of a variation of it that mocks their name itself. I mean, what are you, lazy? Don't even care about the drug or the drug stuff, talking about you in general. That would be an ad hominem. Yet again, he says that I'm not the real Dagber, not even in position. This is pretty lame of you, what you're doing. It's not even all that good. As far as if this is intended to be satire, it's bad satire. All I'm saying is I don't care about the pirate stuff. You're an LOL cow waiting to happen. I mean, this is, again, ad hominem and an attempt to, it shows that the general character and thrust of this particular person is that they're, trying to make me look bad. That's their agenda. Your bizarre behavior and delusions are what make you similar to those guys. Like, that's your interpretation of my behavior. Cool. Whatever. Marshall Mathers is the fourth as a cringy, including YouTuber. I see. Sorry. But I'm thinking Eminem, because didn't he go by Marshall Mathers too? I seem to recall something along those lines. But you could forgive me for not, giving much of a fuck about, cringe YouTube. Sir, I'm sorry that I'm not all that interested in that stuff. It's not exactly relevant to my interest that there are these cringe channels in the fucking first place. You really think that I'm, going out of my way to fucking follow what's going on in the Chris Chan genre, drama? Really, I'm actively disengaged. I've got better shit to do than focus on those fuckers. But I engage in bizarre behavior. Well, bizarre to you. And delusions? I gotta say that there's a structural flaw to this point of view in that, there's a massive logical error in this argument. Your bizarre behavior, right? Well, this is an assertion of bizarre behavior and delusions. But it's a mere assertion. Where's the supporting evidence? What are you calling bizarre? What are you calling delusional? Those are the questions that you should be asking. What does he mean by this? What does he have a clip that he can point to that he would point and say, this is bizarre, this is delusional, and what is the definition of delusional anyways? Let's go, look it up. Delusion, characterized by holding idiosyncratic beliefs or impressions that are contradicted by reality or rational argument, typically as a symptom of a mental disorder. What is a delusional person? A delusional disorder is a type of mental condition in which a person can't tell what's real from what's imagined. Okay, persecuted delusions, jealous, and grandiose types. What I see here is somebody that's just raging about the fact that, for instance, there were a few assumptions that were made about who they were. I just you name yourself Johnny Dagmar Gobble Jr., and that's what I'm gonna fucking act like you are in a video. I'm like, because, sir, like, on the most basic and fundamental level, like, as far as I'm concerned, like, I'm not into this, like, cult of Upchurch anyways. Like, bro, I mean, what I'm trying to tell you in such a huge way is that you even know who this guy is, okay? And that you're even up on all this, and what's going on, and brushed up on all who these characters are and everything, and all these people. Like, you think that what you are is somebody that's, like, in touch with what's going on and is in the loop, and that's a really great thing to be. I don't value that shit, bro. And I mean, just because you do doesn't mean I have to. I don't value being in the loop. I mean, I'm sorry, but the loop produces a lot of shitty content. So I'm not even all that interested. I mean, then it says I'm not the real Dagmar, and I'm not even a real musician. And I'm like, I kind of want to learn how to be. Because I'm worried that in criticizing these guys, people are going to be like, well, you don't produce any music yourself, so why are you saying something, sir? Where's your music? Because it's unfortunate that's where a lot of the debates in America have a tendency to go. But I'm watching all this. I'm watching all the shit that this person's saying, and I can tell you there's a lot of things wrong with all of it. He says until this critic is able to explain what he means by bizarre behavior and delusions so that we can examine it and potentially argue with it, that there's nothing abnormal or strange about it, or, at least advance a point about why something that appears strange shouldn't be thought of as strange. Like, we can't even do that. There's no opportunity to argue with it because he's just asserting with, like, no actual supporting evidence of that claim. And he's asserting that, in general, this is just how I have a tendency to be, delusional. And yet, if we go and we look, and the reason why I'm pointing to, and I'm accusing him of being terrible at argumentation, is the hierarchy of disagreement, where, and I mean, okay, you can see that there are all these problems on this chart. Like, do not attack the person's persona. And he's already violating that. He's basically saying this person's persona is more generally delusional, and he engages in a lot of really bizarre behavior. Therefore, we shouldn't take anything he has to say seriously. That's what's going on that. There's no attempt to respond to the substance. A lot of what he's calling bizarre behavior is, me being pissed off and animated. So he's responding to the tone, not the actual substance of what I shouted into my camera, So that's another structural flaw. So even if that's what he's talking about, well, that's not a response to the substance. That's a response to the tone. And then another problem with his, argument is just that he is trying to contradict my perspective, but he's not actually offering any supporting evidence for the shit that he's asserted. Like here we see, your bizarre behavior and delusions are what make you similar to those guys. Now that begs a question of what bizarre behavior and what delusions, but he doesn't show any evidence of bizarre behaviors and delusions. He just asserts it, I like. So you make me go and produce a video that systematically challenges you on every fucking point. Fine, I'll go there. There are problems with each and every one of these problems, and until you can get around this and actually learn how to address somebody's central point, maybe you should just stop criticizing. You're and if you can't, like, you might say that YouTube is not like the debate ground, and I shouldn't expect like a fucking I shouldn't expect it to play by those rules, but it should. That's my view. It's stupid that the internet doesn't play by these rules, because we can always refer to them anyways. And I think that arguments online should be constrained to like very similar rules to what goes on in the debate club or in the courtroom, and that's my point of view. I mean, if you don't like it, I mean, fine, I'll go on popular opinion about it. I'm willing to die on that hill. Fuck it. I don't live my life to please you fucking people. That's how I see it. Fucking take it or leave it, tough shit.